So check this out, y'all. Dozens of ice volcanoes discovered on nearby dwarf planet. New observations suggest that a lonely world in the asteroid belt has been erupting frozen lava for the past billion years. On the dwarf planet Ceres, the largest body in the asteroid belt, icy volcanic activity may be a regular occurrence rather than a puzzling anomaly. New observations reported today in Nature Astronomy suggest that the small world has been continually erupting over the past billion years, although its volcanism has spewed substantially less material than the volcano on Earth, Mars, or Venus. You know, so because I am no science expert, right now my only response to this is, wow, that sounds really freaking cool. Like, this sounds amazing. First of all, I'll be honest, this is my first time hearing of this dwarf planet. And that sounds badass as hell. Regular icy volcanic activity. Though the evidence for widespread volcanism is strong, scientists are still perplexed by what is fueling those eruptions. So we don't really know what's fueling these. A new space mission to this dwarf planet would probably tell us that. I want to, dude, how do I get in on that? I've had the ice cream before. Did any of you guys have an astronaut ice cream when you were kids? I did. I remember thinking it was kind of cool. Stretching roughly 600 miles across, Ceres is the only dwarf planet in the asteroid belt, the ribbon of space rocks scattered between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. Since March 2015, NASA's Dawn spacecraft has orbited the frozen round world, taking a close look at its icy terrains and startling bright spots. But several months after pulling into orbit, Dawn spotted something truly odd, a tall pyramid feature reaching more than 13,000 feet above the cratered surface. Sometimes you miss a zero when I don't have my, when I'm looking kind of far from the screen, as my face is a little far. Alright, so let's read a little bit more about ice volcanoes. Scientists named the feature Ahuna Mons, and in 2016 announced that it was indeed a volcano. But instead of erupting fire and brimstone, which is what volcanoes usually erupt along with the religious rite, it likely oozes frozen lava made up of ices, salts, and other minerals. Sounds like a fuck of a margarita, doesn't it? That's because temperatures inside Ceres are too cold to melt rock. So even though it's like too cold, it still spits out ice. How badass is that? So that means, I guess, like the inner forces, it's still able to spit out ice. But the temperature was, however, high enough to melt the ice. So that's why it's kind of like a debris type thing. It's water, ice, salts, as it's saying. This is starting to sound Game of Thronesy, right? They're going to find the White Walkers on this place. That's what they're going to do. They're going to send a space mission there, and they're going to be like, holy shit. They're real. They even have an ice dragon. Icy volcanic eruptions might sound weird, but Ahuna Mons is far from being the only so-called cryovolcano in the solar system. So it's been spotted on other planets. I almost said countries. Wow. It's been spotted on the other moons and arguably several other worlds in the outer solar system. Scientists think those eruptions are powered by the body's internal heat, which in the case of some moons is generated by gravitational interactions with home planets. And on some of these worlds, the geysers and plumes that result from cryovolcanism provide some of the best places to look for life beyond Earth because they bring materials from buried potential life-friendly reservoirs to the surface. Dude, how cool is that? Alright, I feel like we should just end here because I don't really have anything super insightful to say because I'm just a regular guy when it comes to science that in depth. So really, I'm just like, that's really fucking cool. Like, that's the same response whenever I go to an exploratory center. I went to the NASA exhibit in Los Angeles, and the whole time I was just like, that's really fucking cool. And it didn't take much to blow my mind, actually. Like on a spaceship, you know how the flag, I don't know if you ever noticed, but on a space shuttle that's going into space, there is the flag is kind of the opposite way, and it's always painted that way. I never knew why. We asked somebody, it's painted that way because it's supposed to look like it's flapping in the wind. So when the space machine is going up, when the shuttle is going up, the thing, it looks like it's flapping, like it would flap this way. So it looks like, and I thought that was really fucking neat. I was like, wow, I never knew that. Now, I hugged the person that told me. I didn't do that. That would have been weird. But my point is that it doesn't take a lot to, whenever I see a new species I've never like seen before in person, I get like real excited. The first time I saw a Wolverine, I geeked the fuck out. Like, I geeked out the first time I saw a Wolverine. Because I'm a dork and I like the X-Men. Not that I'm not saying that if you like the X-Men, I'm saying I'm a dork who also likes the X-Men. So I grew up with the X-Men, and of course Wolverine was my favorite character because he's grumpy, and I can be grumpy sometimes too. And he's short. I am also short. And he is very, very old. I have been 27 since the year 1933. So me and Wolverine have a lot of shit in common. So I really got into him. So the first time I saw Wolverine in person, I was freaking, and you were like, wow, Ron, were you young? Were you a kid? No, I was in my mid-20s. I was an adult, and I was just geeking. I was like, can I touch it? And they're like, no, you idiot, you can't. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, totally geeked out. The first time I saw Wolverine, I was, one of the things that I did on the side, as a side gig when I lived in Seattle, I timed marathons. I was like, if you run a marathon, usually you get a chip that it allows you to keep your time. I was the dude that kind of orchestrated all that. Like, I set out the mats, I tested the chips, I like packed them ahead of time, and then I would give them to the people at the event, and then I would record everything as they came in, like made sure the data was loading, stuff like that. It was a pretty fun gig because half the time you just sort of sat there, and it was in the Northwest, so it was freaking beautiful. So you would just kind of sit there and watch the sunrise and have a cup of coffee. So it was pretty fun. Most of it. I mean, the early rising wasn't fun. I would have to get up at like 4 in the morning for it, but it was only like once or twice a month. Anyway, one time we did this marathon at this nature reserve, and they decided that they were going to take us around the nature reserve after it was closed. And they specialized in kind of more exotic animals you don't always see all the time. So I got to see a Wolverine. And I'd never seen a Wolverine in person before, and I was kind of geeking out. They really do. Like, Wolverine's claws, their freaking claws kind of look like that. Like, they do look like adamantium a little bit. And, yeah, I thought it was really freaking cool. I saw a bunch of... What else did I think I saw a Tasmanian devil there, too. Which, again, because I grew up on certain cartoons, I geeked out about that. Bats. I freaking love bats. I saw a fruit bat eating a banana, and it blew my frick. Everyone else was grossed out, and I was just like, yeah! Like, I was like, yes! In fact, when I'm in Austin, Texas, on November 10th, get your tickets now, by the way, I'm hoping to go to that bridge where all the bats fly out. I did that. I haven't done that. The past few times I've been in town, I haven't done that. If you guys are in Austin, Texas, you know what I'm talking about. There's this thing every day around 5 or 6. These bats fly out from under this bridge, and it's really freaking cool. I like bats. I think bats are really neat. So anyway, whenever you send me one of these science articles, I'm just gonna, kind of be like, that's really neat, you guys. Our planet might not be here much longer, but it's neat in the meantime, right? Like, that'll be me.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it